On the dark side, the dark hemisphere of Eternia, dwells evil villains, the likes have never been seen before. And amongst all of that darkness flows evil from a mountain entitled Snake Mountain. And amongst all that darkness, there is a leader among the evil, and his name is Skeletor, Lord of Destruction. And it is this Mondo 1/12 scale Skeletor that we will be reviewing today.
Super Dave here with another Super Dave review. Super Dave here with another exciting action figure review, and this time it is a 1/12 scale Mondo Deluxe Timed Edition Skeletor. And I've been excited about this one. I've really enjoyed the He-Man from the 1/12 scale, 2000X He-Man from the Mondo 1/12 scale. I got both the timed edition and the deluxe, standard edition rather. And so I believe this is the timed edition, but I think, didn't have on the box anyway, but I think this one will come with a base and the flaming ram's horn setup. So that's going to be cool. But he looks cool even in this artwork here. On the side, it just says Masters of the Universe in yellow against this dark purple. Has a little write-up about Skeletor, Overlord of Evil. Then on the top, of course, it says the same. Then on the other side, and then on the bottom, just the barcode and some legalese. So let's go ahead and break open our new 1/12 scale timed edition Skeletor. 1/12 scale over here
in Snake Mountain.
And now it is time to take a look at our Mondo 1/12 scale 2000X style Skeletor's accessories. And first of all, our Skeletor comes with a very unique set of hands, almost like they were made to do this right here. It's a very unique gesture, which we'll show them to you a little bit more in greater detail when we look at a closer look. And so that's one set. Now, all of these have vertical or horizontal hinge because it's a ball peg with a peg coming out of it. So it goes right into the forearms that way. It also comes with a set of balled up fisted hands and comes with a set of weapon holding hands or staff holding hands. Then he comes with this little mask, which is almost kind of like, a vice to go over his face. And I'm not really sure what the back story on that is, unless it's some kind of gas mask. But anyway, that is a unique piece. And then this is the timed edition. And doesn't he just look stellar? So he comes with 4 head sculpts. He comes with the yellow head sculpt with articulated jaw. Looking awesome there. Just look at there. Beautiful, beautiful. And it does open and close. And then he comes also with a more white color face. And it also has very similar facial expression, but it also has articulated jaw. And then it comes with 2 static facial expressions with non-articulated jaw. This one makes him look scared, and this one makes him look like he is doing something sinister. He's up to no good. He's crafting an evil smile there. And these are very bone in color, but all 4 of these facial expressions are just awesome. I'm just, oh man, I'm taken back. Mondo always does a great job, right? And then he does, being it's the timed edition, come with 2 Havoc staffs. You have your regular Havoc staff. Just look at how beautiful that is. I mean, that looks just like, you know, just the bone itself with the horns, and a cool staff that goes all the way down to a point. And then he comes with a special edition, the timed edition flaming staff, and you see I've got a light behind it, so it's catching that light, and there's flames coming out of his eyes, his nostrils, and over top of his horns. Oh man, just look at that. That is so cool. So that's like, you know, Skeletor using full out magic to send some kind of spell out from the Havoc staff, and that just looks epic. And then he comes with a black stand, which all of them come with, but then he comes also with this special, and I've got the black stand under this special stand, which looks like just a platform or a piece right out of Snake Mountain. So it's going to go perfect with our Snake Mountain that we have back here by Super 7. The ultimate Snake Mountain. And so that is so cool. And so you can put that rod, that stand rod, both in the black base, and like I said, it is and I'll lift it up so you can see it here. It's under here. There you go. You can see the black. And then I've got the Havoc staff attached to the stand piece, the holding bar piece, because you can either plug it into this special base from the timed edition, or you can just plug it in this plain base. And he also comes with this really cool sword right out of the 2000X cartoon, which we've gotten this before in classics, but wow, just take a look at this. This is the 2-bladed sword, has a purple side and a gold side, and just look at how good they did this right here. And I'll take them apart here because they snap apart. They go into each other perfect. But look, that little hand claw embraces that little disc, just like you could see in the cartoon. And that is just so amazing. So then you have separate blades. So this brings a whole new dimension to the blades that, or the Skeletor sword, just brings it out to really distinguish it from He-Man's sword, but also have its own story. And I'm gonna look up that story and share that with you as far as that bio card for this sword in this review. But just take a look at this. It is just gorgeous the way they designed it, the way they painted it, and the way it looks. And it's a very high quality feel. It's not flimsy. It snaps together really tight. You can see there the brake, so you can kind of grab the handles and pull it apart. And again, there's, you can see it's raised up here, and it's even included the design as part of the snapping feature. It even adds to the design instead of being so obvious. See, it just pops into that engraved part. That is just so smart. See, that's the thing about Mondo, and I know, you know, obviously they you know, these are premium figures, collector figures, so they're not retail, they're not, you know, cost conscious on it, so that's the reason they cost what they do. But when you see the detail that they put into it and the thought that they put into it, I really believe it makes it worth it. So excellent accessories. And then last but not least, he comes with this amazing, ultra epic cape, and it's got, like, I don't know what you'd call those, like tails almost, like on the inside. It has like a very wide span. You see it's folded up, like pleated in the back, and it has wire all the way around it. So yeah, this is just very, very epic. And you can see the color there that it is. It's a very dark plum purple. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly how to put that on yet, but it's just really cool. And you can see it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those, I'm calling them tails, almost like from a tuxedo. But that, it almost looks like a glove from this angle. But anyway, that is just really an impressive cape. So those are his accessories. And so now let's take a closer look at Skeletor. All right, bringing our Skeletor in for a closer look. You can see him standing on his stand, and that's without using the arm stand. So he stands very securely on that. And since we're taking a closer look, I'll go ahead and bring that on in here and look at it first. I love these spikes, which you know are reminiscent of what we think of when we think of Snake Mountain, and then of course some of the lava, or I guess it could be blood, but I'm thinking it's more the lava that streams out of the well, it depends on which Snake Mountain you have in your mind. The one from the 2000X had the lava. It was kind of a straight up pointy mountain with the snake at the top that had lava coming out of the snake's mouth. But most of the time, if you think about that creature over to the right and the snake over to the left, there's a fountain in the middle, lava fountain. So it just depends on which one you go with. But yeah, this is just so awesome. And like I said, you can plug the same black stand piece that goes into the black base, that's the standard stand, comes with that also, or you can plug that stand piece, the arm piece, into this diorama style stand, special timed edition stand. So that's so cool. But let's go ahead and bring Skeletor in here. You can see I switched out this hand so he can hold on to his staff. Just looks really good. Look at the vertebrae, the bone vertebrae that is coming down the back of this. Now, when I popped mine out of the package, these connectors were not connected. These strap belt type style connectors. And let me just tell you, he's got such a wide back, such a thick muscular back. I had to warm these up with the hair dryer and stretch them and really work to get them plugged back in, and that was no easy task. So if yours comes without these being already plugged in, or if you get maybe the standard edition, just be aware that's going to be a challenge to get these plugged in. They're easy to unplug, and they're not like loose. They don't come out real easy, but you know, they're not solid snaps either. So if it unplugs, it's hard to get back on. So I doubt I'm going to take it off. I might, you know, just to show you his chest, but it is a different buck than He-Man, which is very interesting, but it is a different buck. Now I'm not sure about the rest of it, probably even the arms, because you see the spikes there and just the look. So I'm thinking that this is possibly a whole new mold, nothing reused here, but he is definitely jacked. It's got the abs going on here. Just look at that. And yeah, this is even different than He-Man. It comes to more of a narrow waist in the middle here, a little bit more narrow, and his chest is just a little bit less thick than He-Man. He-Man seems to spread out a little bit more, but I don't know, Skeletor just has a little bit more of a slender look to him, even though it don't look like it here. He's jacked and thick, but He-Man is just a little bit wider, and it's just a subtle difference from what I can tell. But anyway, yeah, he is just awesome here. So the first thing I want to do is check out these heads. I'm going to go ahead and pop off his head here and sit him down so that we can explore how you change the heads out, because you only get this one cowl, and the cowl is what has the you know, the peg hole in here. So it's not like you can snap on these heads by themselves, I don't think. Let me double check, make sure, but I don't think, yeah, you can't snap those on by themselves at all. So you do have to have the cowl to make it a complete head. You know, Masterverse has given us some Skeletors where you could snap, you know, the bald skeleton head on to the ball joint, but we don't have that here unless we could share one of those heads with that. We may check that out. But what you do, and you might have to heat this up, I'm not sure, but it's hard to grab. But what you do is you just kind of work it out. If you can grab a hold of the edge of his of the cheekbone, that's what I'm grabbing. You kind of just work it out of it there, and look, you can just see the green and yellows. This is more reminiscent of, I think, most of the cartoon, but you can see that it is hinged. See how that works up in there. He can open his mouth that wide and close it all the way. You have several, you know, degrees in between the two, closed or fully open. However you want to do. You can have it just a little bit, or, you know, various ways. But anyway, there's the first head. Now let's go ahead and look at the other articulated head, which is more your bone color. And you can see this one opens up all the way also, and then closes all the way, and have various degrees in between too. So what you do is you just push that in, and that one goes in really easily. And voila. So now you can just pop that on. And there he is with that head. And that almost matches his Havoc Staff bones a little bit more there. Let's go ahead and close that mouth all the way. Or see how far we can get it open. Oh yeah, you can get it open a pretty good amount there. So that is just, I think, flawlessly executed. Really, really good. All right, let's go ahead and look at the other head. And again, this one is static, meaning it has no hinge. It's just a solid mold. But same way, and you can see the little indention back in there that fits this indention. You just push it back in there, it pops in place, and so there he is, with that face popped in there. No! Oh no! No! Oh no! And then finally there is this head. And I almost wish, and this is one of those nitpicks, that they had sent us a separate cowl that had maybe a little bit of a different mold, so that you could have had maybe, you know, had two of these heads going at once, so you could interchange them quickly without having to go through all of that. Because like I said, it is hard to kind of work those out there. The static ones are a little easier than the one with the hinge. Seem like they're a little thicker, but it goes in and out of there very easily. But it would just been nice to have that versatility, to have that second cowl. And like I said, they could have made the cowl maybe a little thicker or a little bit, you know, different, whipped around somehow. I don't know, but you know, that's just an observation. But yeah, there he is. This work, this plan is going to succeed. Yes, it is. It will succeed. Got kind of one eyebrow, so to speak, lifted, and a great big grin going on. Looks diabolical. This is the crescendo, you know, from the movie. But yeah, so cool, so nice. And then this mask piece pretty much just pops onto either one of the static heads. Seems to go on them a little easier, in my opinion. So it just pops onto the back of the jaw, and you see there, and then you just have to kind of shove this in there. It's a little tight when you have the mask on, but it works. So there you go. You can see how that works. So I'm not really sure what the premise is for this per se. I don't remember. It may have been something in the cartoon that I forget, that I'm not remembering right off. And some of you that are real diehard 2000X cartoon fans and the chronology of it all may know exactly what it's from, but looks cool. All right, I'm going to put this head back on for now because that's my favorite. I think I like the greenish yellow bit the best, and it's articulated, and then the facial expression. But just look, you have these horns that come off on the side. You have just this really elaborate, we've never gotten anything quite this elaborate as far as, you know, the bone, crossbone, but that was, I think, accentuated in the cartoon because most, you know, of the Skeletors, all of them pretty much have that, you know, for the most part, but it's just usually molded on like this vintage collection had a really nice one, good size one here, but just look at the detail in comparison here. It's night and day. Mondo does such an excellent job, even with the arms and the chest. I mean, this is a big boy, but this does, I think, an even better job at just highlighting a detailed Skeletor in this scale. Is just awesome. Of course, you're talking about, you know, $27 versus $100. So, you know, obviously it should be, but still just showing the comparison a little bit here. But just look at the detail of these little fins coming off the sides of his shoulders. And I showed you the back, but look at that again, just almost like the scales. The paint works, almost a shimmer in there. The wrinkles in the cowl. The vertebrae that comes in. Look at that, this contrast of colors. The tassels, the gold on the end of these tassels is loincloth, and there is cloth. This is a soft good, like that goes around underneath. Now you don't see it here. And look at that interesting design right there. I don't remember seeing that before, and that may have been in the cartoon. I just don't recall it. But look at such detail, such engraved indentions into, it almost looks like a spider here, isn't it? But yeah, just the detail going all the way through this design is just incredible. I like the giant ruby. It's not translucent, but almost gives that appearance with that really shiny, ultra shiny, almost like there's a clear coat over it. So that's cool. But I was saying that there is real soft goods, like a fur that goes around the belt here, and you see it in the back, but you don't see it in the front. But I believe it goes under. Yes, see, it goes underneath. So that protects everything. Isn't that nice? That's like that furry loincloth, just like He-Man had, except it's black. But you don't really see it in the front. You see it coming up a little bit in the back, protecting the paint from the belt scratching a little bit, is the way I look at it here. And you see that the blue ends about right here, and purple picks up into that double jointed knee and into this more shin guard type boot setup. Just look at the details and the paint work that was put into that. The bone, that's just incredible. The spikes here that you can see, just incredible. The tassels, the gold work, I mean, and then the toes. I mean, we get the most stellar looking feet that we've ever seen on a scale, this scale of Skeletor. The toenails, the bones look so realistic. Wow, just impressive across the board. So now I think what some of you are waiting for is the cape. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the head off. So before we do articulation, I want to find out about this cape. And it looks like, wow, it's just hard to tell here how this works, because I don't want to put this like that over it. I'm trying to figure out how this works. Let me see if I can figure it out, and I'll be right back. All right, I figured it out. You have to get that laid back, those tassels, and this one is really bunched up. I might have to get the steamer and try to get that wrinkle out. Well, I might be able to get it out just by using the wire. See, there's a wire that runs down this seam. Yeah, that straightened it out pretty good. Like I said, it looks like gloves, but they're more like, I guess, tails to a tuxedo. But what you do is you work your finger up in here, and there it is. So there's your cape part on the side that comes down kind of in an arc. And then you have all of this elaborate cape work in the back that can be fully articulated. But let's go ahead and put it on him. So just kind of trying to bring him on in here. It's just so much cape. So much cape and such a little peg. Trying to figure that out here. And pop that on. So that really makes for a thick, I mean, Batman eat your heart out kind of thing. So first of all, you could have him, you know, pretty much completely enveloped like so, if you wanted to, for sure. You know, and that may not be your thing. I know it's not mine. It's just very bulky. Or you can, of course, kind of bring this part back like so, kind of folding it. And there's so many wires. I'm fighting them to try to get it in there. There's just so much of it. My one complaint on this would be, I wish they had given us a simple cape and then, you know, this cape. That way you had a choice, because it's, all right, there you go. That's a little bit, let me see, you know, I don't know. It's hard to get shaped. There's just so much cape here. It looks kind of, you know, it's just puffy. It's not my favorite. I think I almost prefer him without the cape, but I'm sure you can tuck more of that in. And let me check just in case. All right, and that is about as much as I was able to tuck it in. And I tucked and tucked and tucked and folded. And like I say, I'm sure you could do even more, but that's about as subtle as I can get it. That cape, it's kind of hard to tame. It's almost like trying to tame wild hair. But you know, like I said, I wish they had given us, especially in this timed edition, maybe just a regular one dimension kind of, I don't know how to explain it, fabric cloth with some nice wiring, and then this big thick bulk one. I mean, this thing has the potential of just coming way out. You know, I mean, it could just, I mean, it's going to be able to do crazy stuff, you know, like that. Get an idea there. And while we're at it and taking a closer look, take a look at this hand. And this hand is just very unique. Like I was mentioning earlier, it's a very much a gesturing style hand. I can see him holding something like the diamond ray of disappearance. Trying to get this mouth. It's hard to get under it, to close it when it's open like that. There we go. Use something to get up under there. I was trying to bend his head down. So see, he could read something or look at something, even hold, you know, something. Very unique hand. I've never quite ever seen a hand like that. But he could do like a spell. So yeah, there's a lot of different things. But yeah, you can see the cape, you can see this hand, the gauntlets. Well, didn't really look at those. Like there's almost like there's skulls with bones coming out of the eyes. Little blue gem there. Just so much detail. This keeps looking like a pumpkin to me, but it's kind of like a bronze orange little face almost. I'm not sure what that is. But I mean, he's just so impressive everywhere. Everywhere you look at this guy, he's impressive. So bravo, Mondo. I mean, I really don't have anything bad to say. Matter of fact, I'm going to go and do it. I give this figure a 10 out of 10. That's right. Yes, a 10 out of 10. He is just that good. I mean, I can't really find any fault with him. He is just excellent. Paint apps everything, aesthetic, his height, his moving, his cape, everything is just so premium and so, you know, over the top good that you can't complain about it, really. It's just awesome, and I just give him a 10 out of 10. I said that He-Man was a contender for figure of the year. Skeletor may have just brung it and topped He-Man. I'm serious, and I'm a big He-Man fan. I know some people are Skeletor fans, some people are He-Man fans. Well, I'm a He-Man fan, but I'm still going to say that this figure may have just topped He-Man. But yeah, 10 out of 10 for sure. And since that happened, okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove it so that you can see this chest, okay? We'll go ahead and do that so that you can see the chest back. You see how this piece here is added in. That's molded in, I think. No, it's actually a piece that's glued on there, it looks like, because it does lift up right there. But that adds to the cowl. Yeah, that adds to the cowl there. But that's the main difference on the neck part. But you can see the lower back there, the musculature. Now, to prove that it is a different buck than He-Man, here we go. See, totally different abdomen. Totally different abdomen. He-Man's abdomen goes all the way up in here, as you can see, like that. Let's see if his does. Yeah, he really don't have that second level. Not as detailed anyway as what He-Man has. His abs are a little bit more sunken in and gives him a little bit more of a narrow waist look. And I believe even his ribs, let me put He-Man's abdomen back over here, because that's one of the things about He-Man is his obliques, this part right here, really spread out. And I find myself a lot of times trying to poke that back in and hide it with the harness. Go ahead and get it straight here so that you can see. But see how his don't sink in under that first level of abs like He-Man abs do. Put his arms down some, and you can see that again, what I was talking about the butterfly joint there. And see, you can even get those pectorals to pinch in a little bit because of that softness. Just really, really realistic to the anatomy when you look at it from that standpoint. But just take a look at here. See? It kind of caves in a little bit more under that first level of abs. And so gives him a narrower looking. It's not necessarily narrower because He-Man's still got the V shape and the narrow waist, but it gives the illusion a little bit of Skeletor having a little bit more of a slender waist. But I declare, if it don't look like that, Skeletor has a little bit more jacked pectorals than He-Man, a little bit, and it may be the shading of the blue, but just look at how it sinks in there more than He-Man's does. And it may not be, it may just be the color, because He-Man did not skip chest day. He's got some pectorals, but almost looks like Skeletor's is a little bit more chiseled and defined. But yeah, pretty interesting. But yeah, different mold completely across the board on the chest, the torso, the abs, everything. Arms, the back, yeah, the back's totally different. So yeah, you can tell it for sure. Okay, now let's look at his articulation. I'll get you, He-Man! All right, bringing our Skeletor on in here. I removed the cape because I want to be able to show this guy without the hindrance of that cape, because I believe that it'll help us see it better if it doesn't have that that cape, you know, all over the place trying to hinder the movement. So yeah. All right, let's go ahead and remove this Havoc staff out of his hand here, and it's such a beautiful piece. I love this. Again, just showing you how nice that looks. All right, but he is going to be able to look up that much, which is, I think, a pretty good amount. The back of his cowl does kind of hit the plastic part of the neck, and but that's how far up he'll look, which is, I think, really good. And then he's going to look down all the way till his chin or the bottom of the cowl actually hit this chest armor piece. He's going to be able to get really good head pivot, which I really like. Mondo does an excellent job, even with the cowl. Nothing hinders. So he's getting some good head pivot, and it's just, he's going to be able to get some great expressions, whether you have his mouth closed or whether you have his mouth open. And we'll go ahead and cover that again, even though we looked at that earlier. In case you skipped on to articulation, you see that mouth definitely, and it's hard once it's open. It's almost impossible to get under there and close his mouth. So you almost have to take something sharp that you won't scratch and go underneath there and lift that that up. But yeah, looking awesome with the way that moves. He's going to get full 360, no problem there with that arm. There is a little bit of a because just like what we had with He-Man, it's not necessarily a true, per se, it's not a true butterfly joint like you have in some characters where it's got like a hinge that goes up in there, but it is like a butterfly joint in that it will shift back and forward. With that peg going straight into his chest, it definitely gets a pretty good range, as you can see there. So it's not like a crossover, because I mean there's so much girth with those pectoral muscles where he can like really cross over in front of his chest, but nonetheless the shoulder does shift. You see how much it shifts back and then shifts forward, so it is present. It'll even go up and down a little bit. But anyway, he will get, of course, a full T-pose there, and he does have nice bicep swivels, which if you hold that shoulder at deltoid, you'll be able to see it. And really nice looking deltoids. The striations in the muscle look really good. Even the cephalic vein that comes through the bicep here looks really nice. Just has, you know, so much detail. Double jointed elbows. Take a look at how good that looks. Mondo has mastered the double jointed elbow. Some of these companies like Mattel and Hasbro and God knows Beast Kingdom and some of the other companies, y'all really need to take notice of the engineering here, because I can't really imagine that costing that much different compared to what some of the mess that y'all give us sometime with double jointed elbows, especially Beast Kingdom. Lord have mercy. If you look at my Dark Side and Superman, they were horrible. And even Boss Fight with the Red Sonja, horrible looking elbow joint there, but this is beautiful, perfect, beautiful. And look how well hidden it is, even in the pinch of the bicep. It just looks really, really good. So again, 10 out of 10 on this figure. I can't say it enough. All right, so let's go to the diaphragm. Just like with Storm Collectibles and with He-Man that we looked at, Skeletor has a soft chest piece up here where you see the more rib cage and oblique type muscles up in here. Just really cool. So let's look and see. He's going to be able to bend forward that much, and that's just with the abdomen. He's going to be able to bend back a pretty good amount too. And of course, he's going to have side to side, and with that, I've unplugged that. Oh no, they've both come unplugged. Yikes, they're so hard to plug back in. That's my only complaint really about this character. But yeah, he will go side to side. So you can see the full hula hoop with the diaphragm here. And we said it he crunched forward that much with just the diaphragm, but if you add the ball joint at the waist, he's going to be able to crunch forward even further. Really good amount there. A really good amount. You have to really work on moving this because it's so thick that with that cloth, loincloth underneath, and there's so much going on here, you have to really pull it down so that you can get that other ball joint engaged. But yeah, he goes forward that much, and then when you engage both, it's definitely going to gap a little bit. Of course, you can close it. He's going to really be able to bend back a really good amount when you engage the ball joint in the waist. And you're going to be able to get good side to side too when you engage both. So the full hula hoop is definitely in there across the full spectrum, every angle of this dude. So excellent job with articulation there. Moving on to the legs, he's going to get full splits. You're just going to have to be patient with it because it's going to cause this to push up all that loincloth and all that, but he will get full splits for sure. If you look up underneath here, you can see that that ball joint and that joint where it plugs into that ball joint, it goes down into the thigh. So instead of there being a thigh cut or anything, you do have the ability to rotate very smoothly on that's built into the thigh. And that's the way to do a thigh rotation. That's the perfect way to do it. So there again, Mondo has nailed that. He will kick up a really good amount. I don't even have to worry about having any drop down or anything. Just works perfectly because of their engineering. It just looks good. So yeah, and so he'll be able to go back a little bit for strides. Beautiful double jointed knee as well. Again, they execute that flawlessly in my opinion. This tassel out of the way. You can see how well that looks, and even though there is this kneecap here, knee pad, you can see how well that's executed. Very nice knee joint, works great, is hidden well, and it don't quite go because of all this back here, back far enough to hit anything, but I mean still get plenty of range for him to sit down, get in vehicles, whatever you need to do there. All right, go ahead and check out the feet. He's not going to be able to go full tiptoes with that foot. That's as far down as it's going to go, but that's still good enough. He's going to be able to go up a really good amount, and he will get rockers. And I think, not sure, no, this don't really move out of the way. It just kind of hits, but you see that's an excellent rocker. That's as far as you're going to need to go. You know, even go that way also. So excellent rocker with those ankles, and just bravo, excellent, beautiful sculpt, beautiful aesthetic, hides the joints extremely well. I mean, you could almost get this dude into poses that make it look like a statue, and it doesn't even look like it has, I don't even know how many points of articulation, but there's a lot. There's more than 30 going on here. I know that because Masterverse boasts of 30, and this guy has more than Masterverse. So there's more than 30 points of articulation at least here. So that's awesome. And you can see also, and I haven't shown you this, but you can put this sword right back here, and it spreads apart really nicely, so you can store his sword on his back just like so. That's really neat there. That's really cool. Now let's do some comparisons. All right, coming on down here and taking a look at all of our Skeletors, or some of them anyway. We start out with our vintage collection Skeletor, then the 40th anniversary 2-pack from San Diego Comic-Con a couple of years ago, Skeletor with the metal weapons. And then here is our Mondo Skeletor. You can see he stands a little taller than even these vintage style bucks. And then we have the original Revelation Skeletor from Masterverse, and this is a Hordak MX head sculpt, so that head's a little bigger than the one that came with that Skeletor originally. That head was kind of tiny. And this head is on the small side somewhat compared to some of our other incarnations. This one has got the traditional classic look with the green and yellow skull and articulated jaw too. And so, you know, that is more of a 2000X look to Skeletor. The shape of that skull is reminiscent of that cartoon from Nickelodeon, Mike Young production, compared to what you see here in the more of a classic look. And then you have over here Battle Armor, New Eternia Battle Armor Skeletor, and he also had articulated jaw. And if we remove his helmet, if I can do it without knocking everybody over, there you go, you can see him now looking really good with that like chainmail part over his head there. And he's actually holding, I believe, the 2-pack San Diego Comic-Con Skeletor's Havoc staff with the metal head there. Put it with him because I really like this Battle Armor Skeletor. And then you can see the Terror Claws Skeletor. He also had articulated jaw. You can remove the red visor, but you can see, I mean, he's very unique. But yeah, all these Masterverse and New Eternia and Vintage Collection from Masterverse, and Revelation from the cartoon Netflix series, all of these look really good alongside of this one. But I have to say, as far as detail, aesthetic, articulation, even the color, I really am pleased with how this Mondo Skeletor came out, and he is just in a class by himself. Just some of the flair and things that they added to him, he is just awesome, but really fits in well with this scale. So you can use this Skeletor in with your Masterverse and New Eternia stuff for sure. And here is our Chronicles Skeletor from the movie, and you can see that I have, if you're familiar with this figure, I have done a little bit of custom paint work on his skin, and even add a little flair to his loincloth there and a wash, and then also use some heat and manipulated his cowl and his skull just a little bit to make it more of a narrow look. But that is all Chronicles, and his Havoc staff looks really good. He's on the short side compared to Masterverse, as you can see. This is one of my favorite Masterverse / New Eternia. This was the Bone Throne Skeletor, but I took the Battle Armor Skeletor, New Eternia Battle Armor Skeletor's head, his skull, and put it in the Bone Thrones, because that Bone Throne Skeletor had a little bit of a Alkyla type skeleton, and the jaw looked kind of weird. And even though I tried to shape it, I just never got happy with it. So, but you notice this one has a little bit of that look to it, especially on the cheeks, of what our new Mondo Skeletor has, as far as that head sculpt, and it's yellow, and he has the articulated jaw. Of course, the teeth here are white, and that's a greater detail. So there is some similarities here, but that cowl is the cowl from the Bone Throne Skeletor Masterverse, New Eternia Bone Throne Skeletor, and I did add a cape to him also. It's one of my favorite Skeletor figures. I think they did a good job on his feet too, but nothing compared to these feet. These feet take the prize that are on Mondo here. And then you have your classics, Masters of the Universe Classics Skeletor, which held the reins for many years as being one of the most detailed and excellent Skeletors. But I have to say, this Mondo crushes him as well. Even though it's a 2000X incarnation, it's enough like Skeletor in his look and aesthetic that it works. And then you had your Masterverse from the Revolution and Revelation, I guess, too, wasn't it? He made an appearance when they were doing those flashbacks of telling the story of Skeletor when he was working with Hordak. This is kind of the Hordak or Horde working alongside the Horde Skeletor when he was still an apprentice or an acolyte. You can see the Horde emblem on his belt there and that skirt look. So that's a Masterverse figure also. So just taking a glance here of comparisons with the Skeletors that I have in my collection, looking amazing. And here is all of our Mondo figures so far. We have our 2000X He-Man, who's just, I think, one of the figures of the year candidates. And then now our Skeletor, which also I believe is up there for a figure of the year. It looks almost like Skeletor is just a tad taller than He-Man. Does it look that way to you guys? I've heard some others mention that as far as the head, from the top of the head. It may be because of the armor, his chest armor, and the way that cowl sits. But yeah, he's just a tad tall. I think, I don't know, it's not much, but it's there. And then, of course, you have the awesome Clawful that, man, Mondo knocked it out of the park here with the look of the 2000X Clawful, looking stellar here next to his boss, Skeletor. Looking epic here. All right, for this comparison, I'm thinking more aesthetic than I am cartoon compliance with like the 2000X. But here is our new Eternia Masterverse Evelyn next to the 2000X Mondo 1/12 scale Skeletor. And I really think that this matches up well together as far as height. Now I put the Revelation head where she had removed the helmet and her hair fell down. I've got that head sculpt on this one with her holding a helmet that I carved out the face so that she could have a removable helmet here. And I just like the way this looks too, going with the white hair version. Now I also have a version of Evelyn that I enjoy working with, and sometimes I have her holding that helmet, and that's using one of the Marvel Legends heads to give her a black hair. And I like this too. This looks really good on Evelyn. And but yeah, this is looking good here. I think you can definitely match up perfectly this Skeletor and this Evelyn, looking nice. And thank you for joining us for this Super Dave review. It has been a blast taking a look at this Mondo style 1/12 scale 2000X Skeletor Deluxe Edition time release. Just an awesome specimen, awesome action figure, awesome accessories. 10 out of 10 we said, and just loving him. He's just awesome. Goes along with classics. If you need to pair, you know, your Skeletor along with some of them, Masterverse goes great with them. Little tall for Chronicles, but definitely a contender for I would say a contender for figure of the year 2026. But thank you again for joining us. Please like if you've enjoyed this video, subscribe if you have not done so, and comment if you have something to share, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Be blessed. Here's some photos in the photo gallery.